2-for-1 kitty deal here at Switch to Linux. Want to say hi to peoples? Yeah? Alright. Well, greetings everybody. Alright. So, sorry if there was any weird confusion on the timing and the chat. When I came to log in, it was, goofy things were happening. I'm not sure if the time zones are messed up on my Manjaro computer where I started the stream, or I scheduled the stream from, but I don't know, we're all here now. Everything's working, I got it all working prior to start time, so I was like, So, greetings to everybody. Let's see, Brian the Computer Geek is back. Oh, I hope that the work was good. Alright. Carbon Programmer, how are you? James Miller, greetings, how are you? Yes, KO2610, it is 4 a.m. somewhere in the world, apparently where you are. Greetings, Train Me Girl. It's Chinese, he's just taking a class. JJ Game, how's it going there? Alright, so, we are going to be talking the news today. And I actually pulled out, I hadn't seen anybody at all talking about what we're going to talk about here today. So what we're going to talk about here today is a couple of articles that I saw wrapped together that taken together is a little bit kind of creepy to me. And that's kind of the title of this, The End of Independent Media, which there's a few different laws in place to prevent big corporations from overriding and basically destroying, annihilating thoroughly the little guys. And several of those checks and balances are in the process right now of being wiped out by the FCC. Interesting. I haven't seen anybody put anything together yet. I'm getting status things. Let me know how this stream's going. I'm going to try and keep an eye on the comments. YouTube's been doing some weird things with the streaming stuff. Like now you can choose, you know, all these different things. And they're like, you don't have to do the keyframes anymore and all this kind of stuff. But I'm getting stream errors. Not receiving video at a fast enough rate. Viewers may experience buffering. Let me know if you guys are seeing buffering. I mean, I'm pushing out as fast as I should be, so. Alright, but anyway, what we're going to talk about here today, I have two articles under, I just didn't know what else to call it, so I simply called it scary. I have 4 articles on business, I have several on tech, and we're going to end up with several articles on Amazon. Amazon's up to some weirdness this week. But that's what we're going to be having a look at. So before we jump over there, let's just say hello to everyone else who's jumped on there, and then we'll jump over to the articles. All right, let's see who else is on here. Anthony, how are you? Is iFlood Process, how's it going there? All right. Greetings, Train Me Girl. Sounds and looks good. You are on a slow motion momentarily. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still... The status still says it's slow, and I don't think there's much I can do about it at this point in time. I think what I might do in the future streams is I'll go back in and I'll actually manually set the keyframes, because I think in OBS here, I mean, I haven't changed anything in my OBS. Usually you want to manually set your keyframes to 4. Which I haven't changed any of that. We're going to go ahead and see how the stream progresses, but that's kind of the situation there. All right. Now it says back to good. Back to good, back to good, back to good. All right. So what we're going to do here, let's go ahead and jump over to our articles. Let's see. What do we want to do for scary? We'll just do our general one for scary. All right, so the first article I want to talk about here, just some things to keep in mind, particularly if you're up here. I think this was in Minnesota or Wisconsin, I forget where. Thank you. Yeah, once I start reading, you want to do a bunch of stuff. Great, thanks. Bad website design, people. Don't do that. All right, so apparently a bunch of people have been putting skimmers on ATMs again, always. Make sure that, and of course some of the articles and suggestions are, use the same ATMs and be aware of what they look like, and, you know, keep an eye out for things like skimmers. But basically, there's been a ring of people believed doing this, and, you know, a suspect believed to have placed skimmers wears a mask to conceal his identity. That's not a mask, that's something out of a terror show. But anyway, so be aware of skimmers, and I forget which state this was. But several, Dakota counties. Anyway, there were several skimmers found in this one small region, and so it was something to keep an eye on. The next one is, of course, be aware, particularly if you're over there in the Russian and Ukrainian type countries, there is the bad rabbit's been breeding in y'all them there servers and is getting in the way. There is this new crypto virus that there's, at the time I read the article, it's unknown what happens if you actually pay these guys, but you'll get this black and reddish orange screen here. It's like, hey, send us $250 in Bitcoin or you can kiss your data goodbye. And if you don't respond to them in 40 hours from seeing this, then they say the price is going to go up. So just be aware, and, you know, good practices. Keep your important data off the internet, folks. Keep it off the internet. Don't put it on internet-connected devices. Don't attach an internet-connected NAS drive and say, oh, I have everything on a NAS drive. That's hackable. But you know what's not hackable? This hard drive. It is not connected to the internet. Of course, it is for the short periods of time that I'm actually working on things, but I'm pretty sure I'm safe on those short period of times, and then I make sure I have backups even of that. And so keep an eye on that. There are some in crypto stuff going back and forth, and you just got to be aware of that. All right. Let's see. All right, looking good. Occasionally it's more like, oh, all right. Those masks look creepy. Yes, they do. All right, so what we're going to do now, we're going to jump back in. So for you folks that wanted to really just kind of catch the title stream and hear what I had to say about this, then what we're going to do here is, this is the articles we're going to be talking about after. The kitty wants to come and say hi.
Greetings, everybody. How are you? I woke up. I had a good nap.
Did you? All right. Kitty's back. All right, let's go ahead and jump over here, and then we're going to talk about our primary articles. All right, so on to our title article. So why do I say this is the end of independent media? Of course, we've all been fighting over this. Those of us on YouTube, if you've been following my channel, you know, my poor little kitty video got demonetized. That was merely a monetization test because every video I've been putting up has been demonetized. And then I'll fight it, and it'll usually get remonetized, but it's right after that period of time. If you look at my analytics, right after the video stops being popular and stopped being viewed, that's about the time monetization turns on. So thanks, YouTube. I appreciate the pay cut. That apparently has nothing more to do than you wanting to save money, because I cannot see what is so offensive about a video with cats with nearly no words and just little music that I downloaded from your own website specifically to put on videos. But anyway, obviously we know about that. We know about the fight with fake news, which apparently fake news is merely defined as anything that's not mainstream news media seems to be lumped under that whole groupage of fake news. And so really that's that first thing. But what is it that keeps the news systems in balance? Why is it, if you go back into the 80s and you look at how many media companies there were about 50 different media companies that owned all of these different things. So you had all these different media companies, and in light of that, right now, I think the number is 6. It's either 6 or it's 8. So all of these companies have been bought and sold, and this is consolidation's been going around. Eventually, we're going to get to the point where every business in the history of the world is going to be owned by one company. And that's going to be creepy and scary. Now, what happens is, what is it that prevents that from happening? Well, there's 2 primary rules in place. One of those is that for a radio station to operate, so I know radios are barely even listened to anymore. But for those that still do listen to radios, for a radio station to operate in any given jurisdiction, they have to have a studio in that jurisdiction or some type of office, something there to serve the community from that local office. Of course, as you imagine, that gets in the way of that gets in the way, and what you end up happening is it becomes harder to expand into new markets. And so that is really the thing that prevents a corporation from taking over the airwaves entirely with spamming all the airwaves with all their own things. It's because to have a radio station, you have to have a presence in the local jurisdiction. That applies to TV and radio. Yeah, Republicans just eliminated that rule, so now it's easier for the big conglomerates to simply kill everyone else in the industry. And so what's going to happen is, rather than the smaller startup stations or the smaller startup radios or the smaller startup TV stations, now the big corporations that have a lot of the fighting power, the control power, and the money power, whether they're doing it legally or through bribing or whatever else, whether you have all of those going on or not, what tends to happen is now this breaks down, and so some corporation over in LA that doesn't have to expand their regional office can now open up a TV and or radio station in my town, and if they start taking their money and investing in that all out, utilizing an internet marketing system, they can essentially take over the airwaves. So what we're going to start seeing is the one area we still have some small semblance of independence is in the area of having the TV and the radio stations, because each jurisdiction has to have the corporation or the company would have to have an office in that town. No more. You don't have to do that anymore. So now it's getting to the point to where one major system can override it for everybody. And this is a horrible, 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 horrible thing. This is that thing that keeps monopolies from taking over. This is why we have multiple different TV stations. This will consolidate everything back down a little bit more. All right. And so this was essentially just FCC again, 3-2 vote. Everything's going to be this 3-2 vote, 3-2 vote, 3-2 vote. And basically it's going to completely destroy the small independent media outlets. So Pi, yeah, you know that there's a brilliant statement coming. No local studio is needed to produce news. That's a scary thought. So all of our local news is going to be handled by who? Somebody who's unaware of our area? I mean, I remember the high school I went to, was it the year after I graduated? I think we had a school shooting, and it was actually the very first time. It predated Columbine. It was the very first time we had, I think it was the very first time a school shooting made national coverage. So we had corporate roamers from CNN and Fox News and ABC and NBC roaming through there, and it was the first time there was all of this national coverage, and you had a whole bunch of people that didn't know anything about the town really reporting news that really wasn't reported well because nobody knew about the town, and that's the problem we're going to get. And so here, this rule was adopted nearly 80 years ago, so we have to get rid of it. It's just old. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Let's get rid of murder. It was instituted in the Bible. I mean, so to facilitate input from community members and the station's participation in community activities. Yeah, that's what we need. Okay, because if you've ever been a part of a small business community, and I have been part of them, I've been operating my own independent small business for 7 years now. You get involved in the community. You sponsor the local community events. You help out. You help with the annual trash cleanup. You do all these types of things, and that's the important part, because what's going to happen is all these big corporate hacks are going to take control of all of the systems. There's no local system, and then there is no representative of that corporation among the community that's being served, and it just becomes this giant nightmare with one big corporate hack. I don't care about the trash and all these communities we have because I'm floating on my yacht in the middle of the Atlantic. Who do I care? And that's what's going to end up happening here in this respect. And so basically, getting rid of the rule will help broadcasters serve viewers and listeners, especially those in small towns and rural areas where the cost of compliance dissuades broadcasters from even launching stations. No, what it does is it empowers the people in that community to do something for that service. Okay, this is destructive to small businesses. This is a huge pro-corporate cash grab, and this is absolutely destructive to the small businesses. But wait, there's more. Because one of the other checks and balances that we have in the media system is that there is a rule that a company cannot own. In fact, if you even remember, if anybody's familiar with Weird Al. Weird Al, of course, did a movie back in the, was it 80s, I think, late 80s, called UHF. It might have been early 90s, but it was called UHF. And with UHF, what happened there is, if you remember that he inherited this station from his uncle or whatever, and then the big Channel 8 News wants to come in, and they're going to buy it, and he says, it's illegal to own two different stations. Oh, that's right, I'll have to turn this one into a parking lot, is a line from that movie. And that's one of those checks and balances, is that one company cannot own multiple different media outlets. They're limited to either the newspaper or the radio or the TV or whatever else, but you can't have overall control, because the reality is you would control that. They're just going to get rid of that one now too. And so now, again, those big corporate guys that have the ability to weed out the small players, just steamrolling them in competition. I mean, this is like Hulk Hogan going against Pee Wee Herman in a wrestling rink, okay? I mean, and those are just the two most ridiculous characters I could think of. Maybe Mike Tyson versus Mac, if you get that reference. And, there's just no competition. No competition. And so now those same corporate guys, in addition to not having to be able to have any presence in the community they're serving, they're not serving nothing. They're extracting every bit that they can out of the place, sucking the life out of the place, and they don't give a crap. And that's a challenge. And so what's happens now is that now they can own as many things in the area. So they're killing another form of competition. Can we just get rid of this guy now? So yeah, they want to get rid of this. So this is part of a larger overhaul of media ownership's rule announced. Currently, its newspaper broadcast station cross-ownership rule prohibits common ownership of daily newspaper and a full-power broadcast station, AM, FM, or TV, if the station service contour encompasses the newspaper's city of publication. Oh, we need to get rid of that. It's too restrictive. No, it's called helping with competition. But they don't want that. It will not surprise me if by the end of the Trump administration, what we start to see is we just see, like, the end of this administration, we're going to see, like, one company owning the whole world. I mean, it's getting creepy. It's getting bad. It's getting bad. This is scary stuff, folks. This is absolutely horrible, and we are going to start seeing the destruction of small things. And what happens to jobs? If one corporation in Los Angeles can now run TV and radio stations in the whole country without setting up an office, who's working in all of those? That's okay. McDonald's is always hiring. And thus I say, this is the end of the independent media. They're killing us on the internet, branding us as fake news. Some groups are just trying to block everything that whatever the establishment doesn't say isn't true. That's all just fake. And now we're getting rid of the rules that puts local people and local workers in the local community to serve the media needs in the United States. Don't worry, they'll regulate themselves, just like Equifax and Wells Fargo. It's all good. It's all good. Well, I made a red dot making machine with broken parts. Makes a red dot. Made of photons. It's cool and good. Ban the cats, and it's safer for me. What? The cat just stared at me. I mean, you got to see this. Once I said that, he did that. No, you're not being banned. Not from this office. You're too popular. Yeah, you're too popular. Yeah. All right. Yeah, the cat's like, don't ban me. Don't ban me. Fake news is just a term thrown by media companies to attack their competitors. Hello, Naras. How are you? I am just doing well myself. Weird Al Yankovic. Oh, yeah. Man, nobody's talking much. All right. I guess we'll just jump right back over to our news. Oh, boy. What am I on? I'm on business. Let's go ahead and, on that note, let's go ahead and jump back to the corporatocracy. So if you remember this one, the California attempted to have its own little privacy rule. Well, it turns out the Electronic Frontier Foundation found that there are a whole lot of intriguing little backdoor deals that kind of is what put an end to this thing, because basically what they said is if you guys allow this privacy rule, then terrorists will be using your servers to kill people. I mean, literally, they went there. This is like we got to stop the terrorists is now becoming synonymous with it's for the children. I mean, that's kind of what's happening. So basically, there were a whole lot of backdoor deals with lobbyists for the media group. Of course, who is it that really liked this? Oh yeah, no, broadband protectors don't help terrorists and Nazis. All right, but basically, who was happy about all this? Well. Oh, here's the great fake pop-up scare. No on AB 375. AB 375 exposes you to pop-ups and hackers. It desensitizes consumers to online privacy risks, leaving us all more vulnerable to cyber attack. Protect online safety. Call your legislator and tell them no on AB 375. And of course, we have a child. See, we should have had a child in a suicide vest. I mean, come on. That's what you need to do for this. Now, there goes my monetization on this video. But the reality is these guys were doing a lot of fear-mongering. Literally, we're going to collect and store your private browsing data to sell to other people. And this somehow makes... it doesn't even make sense. Desensitizes... No, you know what desensitizes consumers to online privacy risks? Collecting and storing their data. That's what desensitizes them to online privacy risks. All right. So that's kind of what we have there. So yeah, have a look at this article from EFF. Basically all the ways that the lobbyists basically lied through their teeth about what this bills were going to do. And if you notice lately, all of the bills that are passing or failing do the exact opposite of they are promoted by the lobbyist groups to do the exact opposite of what they actually do. This is why we need to completely ban lobbyists and completely set term limits. We need to get people with functioning brains who have actually lived in society into office. And with all of these incumbent life career congressmen and senators, we don't got it. We haven't had fresh blood in Washington for a long time, and we got to get some fresh blood over there. Maybe somebody that's got a pulse and a functioning brain cell or two rubbing together. Oh boy. Well, this was a fun article. I want to talk about this one because obviously I'm being hit and numerous people in this community are being hit by the demonetization stuff. This, of course, has more to do with the PragerU sues YouTube, says it censors conservative videos because of the restricted mode filtering, violates free speech rights. I'm going to say this. YouTube itself is its own business. It can do what it wants. Now, it needs to have some degree of accountability and some degree of integrity. That's what my argument is. Tell us what your rules are, publish them so we understand them, and then act accordingly. And I think that that is something you should bind them to the law. Okay? But I got news for PragerU. You need to fire your lawyer and get a new one because he's advised you incorrectly. Here's why. You do not have free speech rights against a company. The free speech, the Constitution, the data collection, etc., 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 is the constitutional rights between you, the citizen, and the government of your country. Has nothing to do with third parties. This is why PRISM is so bad. But Google sweeping up everything that you have is not actually a big deal. I mean, it's a big deal to me, and it's a big deal. It should be a big deal to anybody, but it's not legally a big deal. I think we need to put laws in place to make it a big deal, but currently, the Constitution, the right to privacy, the free speech, these are not anything that has to do with us relating to another company. These are things related to us and the government. So PragerU, fire your lawyer. You've gotten bad advice. You're going to lose the case. I think that's all I really want to say about that one for now. As much as I mean, I hate to say it because I think YouTube needs to do a better job, for sure. YouTube could potentially get sued for what they're doing, for sure. But it has nothing to do with violating free speech because it's a private company. They don't have, there's no accountability with free speech. That's not what the Constitution guarantees you. You are guaranteed a freedom of speech in terms of where the government goes, okay? That's where you're guaranteed freedom of speech. So, yeah, you've had bad legal advice. All right. Whew. All right. Don't hold your breath. If you think McDonald's will hire soon, it will be controlled by... Yeah, this is also true. It depends. It depends. If they can keep the minimum wage under $10 an hour, I'm sure they'll be happy to hire poor little humans. If they want to jump up to the $15 an hour, it'll be cheaper to throw a robot up there. But, you know, I mean, you got to get on your social media to... What is it? Is it Snapchat they were interviewing through? I don't know. Hey, Kitty, do you want to work at McDonald's? Do you want to work at McDonald's? No. All right. Kitty doesn't want to work at McDonald's either. She's like, why do I want to work at McDonald's? I have the perfect life here. Don't hold... Okay. Greetings, Demiano. How are you? Talk about crack. I talked about crack last week, unless you're talking about the white stuff. Actually, you know what, though? There is an article I want to add to our discussion. And talking about crack reminded me of that, because I'm not thinking crack with a K, I'm thinking crack with, I'm thinking crack with a C here. I just got to find the article. Thanks for reminding me, though. Is this it? All right, there we are. I've got to add it to my list of articles as well. Oop. All right. Thank you for the reminder, though, because, yeah, talking about crack. Let's go ahead and talk about some crack. All right. I guess this is another article I want to talk about. Forgot about it. All right. So this happened yesterday. The billionaire pharmaceutical company owner, basically, if you've been following this, opioids have been a big deal lately. Even in our town, I haven't heard of a lot of deaths linked to this, but over across the mountain in Williamsport, like one weekend when this first kind of broke, one weekend 20 people died because of this. This fentanyl medication being mixed in with heroin and whatever. And basically this guy did a lot of bribing and racketeering and fraud in order to push this out. This is a very, very supposed to be controlled substance that was given only to last-tier cancer patients in excessive pain. That is exactly what this is marketed to. But this guy did a whole lot of nefarious things to overprescribe it, to push it to doctors, to push it for clinics. And I got news for you. A lot of your medical doctors anymore, well, America's a great place to go if you have an accident or if you need some type of surgery. We are a horrible place to go to for general preventative medicine. We have no concept of what it is. Everything from our dietary practices. I even looked at going and getting a certification in nutrition. But I would be forced and compelled by law to teach the wrong things biologically. So I said, nah, never mind that. But a lot of times your doctors, they don't read the primary literature. They read the marketing material that the pharmaceutical reps hand to them. They prescribe the medications given to them by the pharmaceutical companies, which may or may not be for their intended purposes. and they get big kickbacks for doing it. And that's what this guy was doing. He used bribes, he used kickbacks, he did a lot of other things to have doctors prescribing this fentanyl drug. It caused a nationwide epidemic. He was arrested. Now, what do I think they should do with this guy? You know what? Not put him on $1 million bail. That's like, for me, yeah, here's my bail amount right there. There you go. There's my change. That's the percentage of his income. $1 million bail? Really? No, you know what you do for his bail? 100% of your estate, buddy. That's what you get. We'll give you a little studio apartment to live in while we put you on trial. And if this moron is found guilty, you know what we should do to this guy? Here's some unconventionalists. Let's give him bread and water to drink to keep him alive. Let's put him in jail, only before we put him there, let's get him addicted to his own drug that he was pushing and selling on people. And then let's give him the ready available access to feed on that drug, like laboratory rats to test addiction models. And let's see how well this guy does. People died because of this. People got addicted to stuff. Also, that this moron could make more money adding to his $1.4 billion net worth. This is why we do need some regulation, people. This is garbage. Thanks for bringing my attention that, or asking me about crack, because I remembered I wanted to talk about that article and I forgot to throw it in there. Hi, Smeek. How are you? All right. Many Silicon Valley companies are corrupt, Facebook especially. Yep. You're going to have to vote in local and regional elections for those who work and for demonstrate consistent upholdings of consumer protections like you advocate on this channel. Yeah. Yeah. The best thing we can do is just get the word out. We just need to get the word out. That's what we need to do. Just get the word out, so that, because one person's vote doesn't count a whole lot. But when we all start voting in mass, that's why I do this. When we all start voting in mass, that is going to be the thing that causes some changes. Megapomaniac. I've been toying with following an idea. A new video sharing service based on ZeroNet. Users accessing and hosting content, no censorship, the whole thing based on free software. I think someone's working on like a, doesn't BitChute use that type of tech? I don't remember. It sounds cool though. One day they will all consolidate into Amazon. Yep. Media is trying to create news-speak terms, just like the Chinese Communist Party tried to change the language in the 20th century. Yep, I agree, Tom. Vote for true conservatives like Tom Hofing and others like him. Okay, free speech applies only in the public sphere. Yep, that's the thing. Is we get so lost on this stuff though, but we have to remember what the reality is. All right. Okay. Harmony used to mean being a gentleman. Harmony now means being silenced and arrested. Yep. Fake news used to mean false articles. Fake news now is used to attack competitors. Yes. Kitty, work at McDonald's? I wouldn't even eat McDonald's. Kitty, what? Work at McDonald's? Would I be paid with temptations? I don't know. Kitty gets 3 temptations, though, a night for being on the show. Yeah, you'll get your temptations at the end of the show, Kitty. Yes, you will. Yeah. All right. Come to Dayton, Ohio. We have already called Morgue Avenue. Nice. Dayton. I have some clients in web design in Dayton, Pirate X, actually. All right. The communists ever changed the deep inner meaning of Chinese characters by simplifying them? Wow. Dr. Evil, 1 billion. Oh, Dr. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Those kinds of punish would be considered inhumane. What topics do you have for Tinfoil Hat Time this week? You know, I have not decided what I'm doing on Tinfoil Hat Time this week. If somebody has an idea for me, let me know. Let me know. Maybe I'll talk about this guy and his scheme to make money off of addicting poor street thugs to his crack. Say us JWs would say. I don't like vindicative justice, even for fools and idiots and terrible people. I like your enthusiasm, but not that. Yeah. Maybe I need to calm that one down a little bit. Maybe. I mean, it depends on his level of repentance, honestly, if we can determine that. And that's kind of what it boils down to. If you want to be completely unrepentant, I got news for you. Let's just give him some wrath. But if he wants to be completely like unrepentant. It's like, I don't care. I did it and I'm going to do it and I'm going to pay my way out of this mess I'm in too. No. Prefer starting with John Locke like Jefferson did. I'll have to read some John Locke. Oh boy, we're going to move over into our tech category. Where's my tech? Here's my tech category. All right. First is just a few little things about the Google the Pixel screens here. My article screen is too small. Give me a second. Let me fix that. A little bigger. All right. So some things to look into at the Pixel. Apparently, the Pixel 2 XL has been having some issues. So if you're thinking about buying one of these, you might want to hold off for a while. One thing that's going on is their OLED screens are burning in. Now they say that some degree of burn-in is to be expected, and so sure, maybe that's true. However, the burn-in is happening in less than a week or two. And so they're saying that's a problem. They're going to try and fix that with some software. There's also some audio issues, some tinkering or some ticking, sizzling, whatever else. So you got to watch out with that. So if you are looking at the Pixel 2 XL, you might want to put that on the back burner, see how it goes. Now that doesn't mean don't buy it at all. Even I bought the Nexus 5X, which does have a potential for having a hardware issue. I weighed the costs and said, okay, I think I'm good with the hardware issue. I think that's something I can deal with. So of course that's there. This is this is actually looking at the screen burn-in. So if you load up like a gray image, you can see what the screen burn-in here looks like. Basically, you'll see the buttons burned into the panel. So you can open these thumbnails up, and that will check it. And what can you do about it? Just accept the updates you're going to get. That's kind of what they're wanting to do with that. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about, this is bad news for anybody who is using Facebook as a small business to try and market some things. Basically, what Facebook is now doing, and they're experimenting with this in a few third world, I don't think it's third world, just other countries, not United States. Some of their smaller countries, I think Sri Lanka was on the list. Sri Lanka, Slovakia, and Serbia. So basically what they're doing is any pages. So you have your Facebook personal pages for all the people, and then you have pages what businesses use. And then of course people can like pages. Now, if a page currently, if somebody updates something on a page, that page should in theory appear in the news feed for anybody who has liked that page. What Facebook is doing now is separating that out into a separate feed so that what a user is only going to see on their Facebook feed without intentionally going into a second stream with all those pages is they're going to see just their friends and any paid posts. Basically, translation, if you like to be seen by your people in Facebook, you will now have to pay Facebook to get your post into the paid tier to actually appear. So they're splitting the tiers apart. This is absolutely horrible, wretched garbage for Facebook to do, because a lot of small businesses, like one of the businesses I'm working with right now, and we're working with building up their site traffic, I can see that every day they have a Facebook post, their website analytics is spiking. And so I've said, make sure you get a post each day, and that should keep your page count routinely high, and then that way you should be able to get more people onto the site. The challenge is that for any small business that does that, and I believe my brother with the game that we have built, that I also work on, he does most of his marketing. I think he almost does 100% of his marketing on Facebook right now. I don't know. I don't deal with any of that stuff. But I know a lot of my businesses that I consult with, almost all their revenues is, all of their interaction is coming from their work on Facebook. And now Facebook is looking at completely pulling this out unless you pay them. You pay Facebook, awesome. You pay Facebook and great. You can now have the ability to see how your news feed show up. But you get the other, the other end. Facebook's going to become completely useless for you unless you pay them money. So, well done, Facebook. You have gotten the whole world addicted to your crappy platform, and now you're just going to be extracting all the money from the business people who actually want to use it the way you've advertised it should be used. Good job, Facebook. iPhone news. Oh, God. So apparently the iPhone went on pre-order today, and they ran out within 10 minutes. As predicted, they put out the iPhone 8. It had dismal sales, all to push it. And I really am believing with the conspiracy theorists. Where's my hat? I'm really believing with the conspiracy theorists that they put out the 8 simply so they could cause the hype with the 10 and jack that price up and get your average consumer paying more than $1,000 for a crappy phone. So the pre-order came up, and to my understanding is they sold out of pre-orders in 10 minutes, is my understanding. And I'm just like, why, people? Did you not understand that this phone is stupid? Oh, well. What can one do? Oh, boy. Prefer giving him prison and making all the walls into TV screens 24/7 showing people suffering from... Ooh, that's not bad. That's not bad. Okay. Like 1984, screen is always on and staring at you. For tinfoil hat time, try to talk about the New York Times praised China for their censorship. I'll consider it. I'll look into things. I might be leaning towards this opioid stuff. There were several opioid things in the news this week, so I might lean towards that, but I don't know. New York Times applauded China for censorship. Yeah. Stykes and Hammer made a video on that article. I'll have to look into it. Oh, come on. Google really needs to fix this feed. All right. Just junk Facebook, except to see photos of people you actually know. Hey, Daniel, how are you? And their families, if at all. Facebook has again proved themselves to the garbage they are. Yep. YouTube is working really hard to get that same way. Yep. Much of the Chinese economy is a monopoly run by the Chinese government. Yeah. In fact, I actually, one of my clients, I was talking to her today. She has a clothing store in LA, and the problem she's having right now is trying to compete because you basically has to buy ad space from Google, from Amazon. Well, what's happening is the Chinese government is deploying bots to click through her daily budget at like 6 a.m. And so basically she doesn't have any ads run all day, but she's paying the full amount because Chinese bots are doing that. And then what happens is the Chinese government is providing a kickback for the companies deploying the bots. It's slimy stuff. And so she's trying to sell good American-made women's clothing, but she can't because she can't get her name out there. The Chinese people are buying up all her ads and a lot of the other people's ads so that they can sell their stuff on Amazon. And that's, you know, that's a challenge. That's a challenge. Sheep are paying a ton of money for a terrible phone. Yep. I need my phone. My phone works perfectly good, but I need a new one. I need my new phone. And it scans your face in 3D. This thing's creepy. This phone is like a 1980. The only thing more 1984 than this phone is Amazon's telescreen. Hey, Anna Rita, how's it going there? Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Well, should we get into more of this fun company stuff? All right. This is a fun one. So you remember a couple weeks back when Verizon all of a sudden just nobody on the unlimited data, it's supposed to be unlimited data plans. People on unlimited data plans couldn't stream video in HD anymore. It limited it down to 720p. And they're like, yeah, you know, we're just doing this everywhere. You can get that now back for $10 a month per line. Way to go, Verizon. You have now joined the scumbag business of the day. I should come up with a segment of the show. Should I come up with a segment of the show? The scumbag business of the day. Kind of like Philip DeFranco's douchebag of the day. I don't know. I don't know. What should we do? What should we do? But yeah, now if you have the already superly expensive unlimited plan, you can pay an extra $10 per line, so now you can watch your video in 1080p, or actually 4K if your device supports 4K. So keep an eye on that. If you're on Verizon and you're sick of being able to only catch the streams in 720p, you can just pay them that extra $10 per month. Thinking of just going to like stupid classic flip phones on prepaid cards. I don't know. And of course, what would be a news show about technology without the FBI griping because we couldn't unlock 7,000 devices because of encryption. Encryption's bad. We want a backdoor into encryption. If you didn't catch my video from yesterday, I tell you how to encrypt your drives. But the reality is that we have to have strong encryption. And yeah, you look at what the government's doing with all the payoffs that they're accepting, and bribes that they're accepting, the fact they don't have term limits and they have seemingly incompetent people in the office. You really want these people to have the backdoor key access into the thing? Oh, that thing will be on the black market before they actually take receipt of it. It'll be co-opted on the Silk Road version 3.2 before the FBI even gets a handle on it. And then now everybody will have their phone backed into, and then they're going to take that key, implement it into every bit of malware, and then all of a sudden, one day, everybody's iPhones are just going to be crypto-locked because they have a backdoor key. I know that's a far-fetched scenario, but, you know, I liked one guy's argument. If the guy is alive, use a warrant, compel the password. If he doesn't comply, you know, we can figure that out. Hold him for a while, whatever else. Do real police work. I mean, if you watch how the Silk Road was taken down, how did they take down the Silk Road, which was on a server, I think in Iceland maybe, on a Tor network, being run by a guy they couldn't figure out? How'd they take him down? Simple. Police work. Police work. That's what they did. They infiltrated his network. They got chats. They figured out who he was. They found there was a bug that leaked to the IP. They found the server logs. They figured out who the guy was, who the Dread Pirate Roberts was. They monitored the guy they thought he was, and they took him down in a library. Good old-fashioned police work. Okay, if you do not have the information against the person because you can't unlock their phone, you don't have a strong enough case. And if they're dead, it shouldn't matter. Sure, maybe we need to know who his associates were. Well, you already have access to his phone logs. You can get that without breaking the encryption. There's no reason that we need to weaken encryption so these guys can get into these phones. This is yet another ploy. They've been doing this. They have been probing and probing and probing against strong encryption for a long time now. They are trying to break strong encryption, which, by the way, there was at some point in time some rules against having strong encryption. But it ended up causing a disaster of things, and so they started to allow strong encryption on things. And now they're just trying to use thing after thing. Here's my prediction. This missing hard drive from the Las Vegas shooter is going to show up somewhere encrypted. And we have to get into this so we can figure out his motive. I guarantee that's going to happen. I mean, I'm not going to be a prophet. I'm going to say, no, chances are high that's going to happen. Okay? Because they've been making this whole big deal. This hard drive's missing. Where's this hard drive? I bet they're going to find it. It's going to be encrypted, and that's going to be yet another thing they use. They're using this. They're using that. They're using that case in Philadelphia where they're like, they've been holding this guy for 2 years now because he won't unlock a drive without charging him with anything. He's not charged. He's just in jail because he refuses to unlock it. You either have the evidence to convict or you let the guy go. Watch him. If you think that he's really addicted to the things you think he's on, then monitor that bad boy and catch him in the act, like they did the Dread Pirate Roberts. You know? There's no reason we need to weaken encryption And definitely no reason we need to give that to the government, because they have demonstrated that they're probably not strong enough to competently hold such a thing. There's some good news, though. There's some good news. Department of Justice changed the gag order policies, so Microsoft drops the lawsuit. So if you haven't been following this, Microsoft had a lawsuit against Department of Justice, and what their lawsuit said is, we want to be able to tell people when there is a request to view somebody's data, because what's been happening is the governments have been putting down a gag order preventing the big data collection, data scooping tech companies from sharing with the end user. So what Microsoft wants to be done is, unless they've determined like this is a major terror plot, I still think that's okay for a short period of time, withhold the information. But what Microsoft and Google and all these other companies want is, if the government says we want all the information on this user, then the tech company, Microsoft in this case, wants to turn around and immediately tell the user that the government is asking for their information. And I think that that's only fair, because if you come in here on a search warrant, I pretty much know you have a search warrant. So if you want to execute a search warrant on my data, I should know about it. And that's what Microsoft wants. And they end up getting that. So you can read this article and get all the details. Pretty much, this is a good thing. This is good news. Of course, back to bad news. Equifax was warned by security researchers over a year ago about a serious flaw. Basically, the same thing that was done, and they didn't do anything about it. They're like, we don't care. We got our yachts. Our credit card history's not in there. We've made sure of that. So when it gets all stolen, we don't care. So yeah, Equifax was warned. They've been warned. Oh boy. Oh boy. Phone home Elliot. All right. Phone with integrated facial recognition. Creep me out since I first saw the demo. Yep, that's the thing. Chinese is corporatist, oligarchic, platonic, totalitarian society. Tom, no wonder I asked you to create myself a website for my business, because ads now do nothing but does websites. I hope so. Hey, I pay my bills with websites. The measly amount of money I make on YouTube stuff, that'll actually pay my food bill for the month. But yeah, all of the other bills and stuff get paid with websites. Yes. All right, most of the cellular companies just rip people off. Yep, especially data caps. Yep. Yes, you were right. BitChute is doing the exact same thing. Cool. Yeah, I was thinking that that's how they did things. Okay, actually, classic flip phones are a thing and coming back for this reason. $25 for the outside phone, then whatever you must have for another. Yeah, I still have two flip phones actually. I have a Samsung Alias 2, and I have a Convoy 1 or Convoy 2, I forget. Both very good phones, actually. And when I have a smartphone that goes haywire or something, I usually just drop one of those other two phones on the system. So no, that's not a bad thing. And unfortunately, I think they both have the capabilities of data collection, but I don't know. Government intervention ruins everything. Yep. Hey, Charlie Brown, how are you? Good day in Australia. We don't have a single non-U.S. left-wing politics-driven mainstream media outlet. I would classify independent media as a non-mainstream media. Yep. Agree here, Oz. We are ruled by Emperor Rupert Murdoch. Yep. Rupert Murdoch seems to have stake in Playboy and Zondervan. Can somebody reconcile that for me? We haven't seen AU mainstream media do any proper investigative journalism anymore. It's just victim blaming and pro-left wing. Yep. Pro-social justice. Yeah, every now and again I watch that guy's channel. Was it Suit Yourself? I believe he's from Australia. Always talk about the craziness that goes on down there. I don't pity you. I think Australia is one of those few countries I kind of wanted to visit sometime in my lifetime. I should probably go soon before it becomes totally bad. I don't know. So my 2012 Samsung smartphone, which works great, cost me $200 back then, probably $10 now. Yep. Criminal encryption is a customized form of encryption that is stronger than your everyday encryption. Yeah, so let's just have the ability to unlock everyone else's encryption, but let the criminals keep theirs, or the government. Okay, you know what? Sure. We'll give you backdoor access into our files when you give us backdoor access into yours. No more redacted stuff. Nope. I want to know what's in Hangar 51. Area 51, I guess. I want to go visit my cousin Roger. I want to know all about it. For crying out loud, why is 1% of the JFK files, apparently the JFK files were supposedly released yesterday. Why is 1% of that redacted? Let's not redact that. I want to see it. No, let's see it all. You show me that, I'll give you some encryption. Some backdoor access. There you go. Weakening encryption will not stop criminals. Nope. It's the same thing with the gun laws. A gun-free zone simply guarantees that the shooter is not going to get shot for at least 3 minutes because that's average police time for response to a shooter. But you know what? Bust into this house. You're getting put down. All I have to say about that. Gun-free zones don't help because criminals don't obey gun-free zone signs, all right? That doesn't happen. Exactly, Tom. I'm talking about this a long time. When I hear law enforcement asking for more tools and laws to be able to investigate certain crimes, I see it seems they want to resolve it easy ways. Yep. Criminals are always trying to be ahead of protectors. It's almost like corporations and governments are unethical and can't be trusted anymore to do worse things than is actually illegal for the normies. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. Why is it that I didn't include this in the news, but this week I think, it was early this week, they even did away with the ability of consumers to band together and class action sue Wells Fargo. Why? They absolutely, unequivocally broke the law intentionally and cost a lot of people a lot of money. They should simply be closed. Close them down. Worst case, let's sue their butts, And that's the thing is we have to hold the corporations and the governments to a higher standard than we have because they have access to more data. Living in the woods is becoming more appealing to me. I do not care if Bigfoot lives there. Well, Bigfoot will leave you alone. I'd worry about Slenderman. Yeah, there you go. Equifax is one of the most incompetent companies I've ever heard of. Yep. Bigfoot, I haven't heard of that for a long time. Why is it not mandatory for the government and education places to use open source operating systems instead of commercial non-source code? Yeah. They should. I miss phones with actual buttons. I'm indifferent on that. I think that the touch phones are decent myself, but does the government really think criminals use commercial technology? Nope. In fact, you can go on the dark web and you can find all sorts of the weird stuff that they buy to commit crime. You should definitely visit Australia. It's awesome. You should also visit Spain. Real criminals would never use corporate communication systems. That's right. Media fails to mention 99% of gun crime is actually using illegal guns. That's right. We have Second Amendment for a reason. That's right. And you know what? I got a license to carry this bad boy. This thing is so small it fits in my pocket. 9mm, about the size of your hand. And of course, like everything else, I do load my own ammo. Actually, my rounds actually use shotgun powder, not regular bullet powder. They push a little bit of a kick. Little stunt video got demonetized. Actually, that's part of the comment part gets edited out of the final videos. I'm sure that this one will get demonetized before the original one, the final edited version gets up, but that will actually be demonetized it'll be edited out of the one that finally goes online. Leader of the base never used. Actually, every video I'm getting is demonetized anyway, so what's the matter anyway? Never used the Facebook or gave away location information on Twitter. Yep. Leader of the base. Okay. YouTube doesn't like guns any more than cats. Yep. Hey, Spider Eyes, how are you? Do you happen to see the Jello Pro smartphone on Kickstarter? It looks really good. Last 3 days on battery. No, I did not. All right, let's go ahead and drive this puppy home with some more news. We have 3 articles here on Amazon. 3 articles on Amazon. All right, so first, just because Facebook did it this week, Amazon's like, I want it too. So now you can go through the Amazon app and you can now order your takeout at some select restaurants. I don't think Facebook's actually delivers now. The cat got cute all of a sudden. I think Facebook will deliver, but now Amazon app will allow you to place takeouts. So this is scary. This Amazon app, by the way, is a scary thing. If you have the Amazon app on your phone, delete it. You can use most of these functions just on the regular website on the phone. But at the same token, though, you can now use your Amazon app that you can purchase your takeout. Now, introducing Amazon Key exclusively for Prime members, because we think you're the dumbest of all. No, that's not what they're saying. But basically, Amazon Key, remember we talked about this a couple weeks ago with Walmart? Walmart wants to give your employees access to your house so they can drop off packages. That's all I need is Walmart employees having. Actually, I think in all fairness, I think it's an externally contracted delivery service. Well, Amazon and Walmart have been fighting it out, duking it out left and right. And so Amazon's like, I'm going to one-up you, Walmart. We're going to sell the package to allow this all to happen. We're going to start it soon. So now with Amazon Key, you can purchase this horrible device for, I think it's like $250. You purchase your Amazon kit. It comes with a camera, creepy, and a smart lock. So then what happens is when the guy comes to your door with your package and you're not there, you'll get confirmation. The video will turn on, and then they'll see that they'll open up the door, and then they'll slide the package in. And then what they'll probably do next is take a piece of paper, because, you know, newspaper folded several times can hold 1,000 pounds of weight. They'll slide that in your door, and your door will close, and it'll be like, your door closed. And then the camera will shut off, and now they'll go back to their truck for about, 10 minutes, have a smoke break, and then they'll come in and just kind of push their way right in your front door again because, yeah, they kind of kept it from locking. Now, I don't know, it might detect if it closes automatically, but regardless, do you really want these delivery people having access to, let your pets out or whatever else they can possibly do? It's like Amazon Prime. Somebody left us as a comment. It was a beautiful comment. They said, Amazon, my cat is gone and my Xbox is gone. I would like to cancel. So yeah, Amazon is now introducing Amazon Key. So, no more hiding key. Did anybody ever hide a key under their mat for the purpose of letting the people in? I don't know. So anyway, you can now have the smart lock, because we all know that smart locks are perfect technology, completely unhackable, totally safe, and allows you to open up your front door from a smartphone. I mean, come on. So there you go. I think, like I said, I think it costs $250 to get the key, the combo, which comes with your app-enabled theft device, i.e. the smart lock, and then the camera, so you can see the schmuck that's stealing all your stuff. Of course, the delivery guy is going to come in with a mask over, so yeah, you can see he came in there, but he knew the camera was there, so what's the big deal? Oh boy, that's so wonderful. And now, would you buy an LG phone for $50 off if every single time it closed, you would see ads on your phone? Now, I'm curious if this is an unlocked phone with an unlocked bootloader, so I can pay $50 less for the phone, wipe the stupid custom ROM you've put on there, and put my own thing on there. If that's an option, I'm all for this. I don't know. They didn't say in the article. But, of course, this is some type of customized LG ROM that is going to enable Amazon. I'm guessing it's probably going to be a locked bootloader, so you can't do much with it. That's my guess, but I wasn't able to find any information. So, basically, if you're an Amazon Prime member, you can get $50 off one of the new LG smartphones, but on the locking screen, it serves ads to you. This is such a bad idea. This is such a bad idea. Creepy. See, the cat was being really cute, and then he shifted. And he's still cute, of course, but he's just not being as cute. Hey, lay on your back again, kitty. That was cute. Kitty, lay on your back again. That was cute. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. All right. I will not mess with Tom. He means business. That's right. Okay. Hopefully you will never need to use that gun. I haven't had to yet. The Base is a criminal organization based in the Middle East. Greetings, Tux Tips. How's it going there? Or should I say Techno-Bismo? Okay, I do not like guns. Lived in black powder country for 25 years. There are much better ways to change ideas. You know, I agree with you to a point, David. A gun is not ever the first thing that we should do. But if I got some schmuck breaking into my house at 3 in the morning, no. You're done. You're done. Because I'm not going to... Okay, you're in my house at 3 in the morning. You're obviously planning to be here for very nefarious reasons. And so, what am I going to do? Turn on the light, invite you in for some coffee, and talk about why you're breaking into my house? Now, here in Pennsylvania, we have this little thing called the Castle Doctrine. It means if you're in my house and you weren't invited at a time you shouldn't be there and it's dark, I can shoot first and ask questions later. And if I kill you in the process, whoops! When I lived out in the Wild Wild West, if you had repeated problems with a person, the police would literally tell you, shoot the guy, drag him into your house, and then call the police. I kid you not. Yeah, I lived out west. That didn't happen a whole lot, but there were some times because we had a lot of meth heads in that town too, you know. It was very well accepted to walk around with a gun on your hip. So yeah, I agree that there are definitely better ways to change ideas, but if you break into my house at 3 in the morning, I'm not interested in your ideas because your ideas are nefarious. Gun uses a hot plasma as a bullet. Amazon is at it again. Okay, Amazon is constructing a huge warehouse in Australia currently. That's exciting. Finally getting up AU Amazon sometime 2018. Gonna affect the whole retail market. Yep, it will. TrueNews.com is a Christian independent media organization. I'll have to look into that one, Matthew. Do you know if Open Media Vault lets you add additional hard drives to an existing drive pool to expand it? Yes, it does. Every hard drive on there is independently managed. Now, whether or not you can drop it in and create a separate RAID, I'm not 100% sure. But if you go into the control panel of Open Media Vault, there's a place there for drives. So if I plug in another drive, it'll appear and I can set it up and then I can create the accounts into it. And as far as logging into the system, so if I'm on this computer and I go and I log into my system, it will just show me one folder for Open Media Vault. It doesn't show me things separated based on drives. It uses things based on user accounts. And so I'll get into there, I'll log in, and I'll see everything related to that particular user account, which means you could separate things on separate drives with different accounts, or you could put things on different drives on the same account. So yeah, all that works. It's a beautiful application. I have several videos on Open Media Vault because it rocks. What is technological innovation? Which technological innovation? I don't know. Okay, why don't they have a smart box outside your house or a smart letterbox? Because that would make sense. Most of these companies seem to make money nowadays through marketing research. Yep. I can just write that entry system myself. Amazon will never get that ability. This whole let people inside your house can only go wrong. Yep. Never going to happen. Yeah, I'm wondering what the market's going to be. Because here's the thing that I notice regarding a lot of this type of stuff. You have a whole lot of people that are like, wow, that's a cool, neat, convenient idea. And then the sheeple just buy into this stuff. And then you get people who either think like us or this is funny one here. Like, you know, a lot of the owners of these companies, they're not walking around with smartphones in their pockets. They're not using all this technology. They're like, a sucker would use this stuff. I do trust strangers in my house. No, let me put it this way. I do not allow my mother-in-law to have a key to my house, which made my wife to kick me into the doghouse last year. You do or do not trust strangers, and your mother-in-law may or may not have access to a key. It depends how crazy she is. Why is it not illegal to sell phones that are network locked? Because, Tom, switch to a shotgun. Nah, causes too big of a mess. All right. In Los Angeles, there is a large homeless population. It's crazy. Many of them do drugs, too. Yeah. What's my basic view on what's my view on universal basic income? I have mixed views on it. I mean, I've seen studies that say it works. The concept is an interesting thing. It would certainly allow us to have a more creative society. But I don't think it would help with the American situation because there's a few factors. One of those is that we inherently do things based on our emotions. There's a book, I'm not going to remember the name of it, but the summary of the book it looks at the differences between the lower class, the middle class, and the upper class. And they have a series of tests you can do to see which class you more align with. And what's interesting is, if you go into any given city, like, and this is funny because I knew a friend a while back he was into pot and stuff, right? So he moved into a new town, like new city, new state, new everything. Nothing was new. It only took him like a week to know where to buy his drugs. Okay? You get into that thought, and it's like that. Well, you get into a town like this, and a poor class person, they know where all the give outs are, where all the handouts are, where all the free places to get lunch are, which restaurants throw food at the dumpsters. I mean, literally, it's interesting the way that the poor people know how to get free stuff. And then the middle class doesn't know about all those. They know where to donate the money and this or that. And the rich people know where all the high and up and end parties are. So you get this weird dichotomy. The same thing happens with money. And the money is the most significant thing. If you take $50 and you give $50 to a rich guy, he literally takes the $50 and says, well, thanks. And he throws it into a mutual fund. You give $50 to a middle class guy, he's going to look at his budget and say, I need to pay the light bill. You give $50 to a poor guy, and we're talking about a poverty-stricken guy raised in poverty, living in that lifestyle. You give him $50, he goes and buys 5 cases of beer and shares it with his buddies. I mean, it happens. And I've done a lot of youth mentoring in that class, and I've seen all these different classes work together. With my work in the business communities, and my work in church organizations, and my work with poor families, I've seen all of those interplays play out, and it absolutely happens. And so my concern with universal basic income is if you give that universal basic income to a rich person, he invests it because he's living off of his investments, and you're doing a better deed for him. If you give it to the middle class guy is going to do really good with it. You give it to the poor guy, and you're going to enable him to drink himself silly. And that's generally what happens. So that's kind of the thought there. Next technological innovation will be robots working in more and more jobs. Yep. Yeah, there's robots everywhere. Tank Scud, how's it going? Want technological innovation. 1, create a 3D printer that can make electronic components extremely cheap at the local level. 2, make it open source. And 3, watch as big businesses drown in innovation and die. Yep. Actually, in our town here, there is a company that bought a 3D printing machine, and they open it up for public use. I think it's once a week or once a month. So you can go down and you can learn how to do it and actually play on a really good 3D printer without having to buy one for yourself. Okay, 3D printers will be a large source of innovation too. Yep, 3D printed food. I'm having visions of, remember those things that look like little flying saucers? Basically like edible styrofoam. I'm thinking 3D printed stuff out of that. Current program, some fast food is already like extruded plastic. Amen to that. Looking into DIY NAS. Have you got a video pros and cons? NAS for free versus Open Vault versus free NAS. No, I don't have a pros versus cons. I use Open Media Vault because I believe it's the only one that's based on Debian, and that is the system I'm most familiar with, and so that's really the one I have. So I do have several tutorials on that, and I have 0.0 complaints about my Open Media Vault. Open Media Vault just totally rocks. I have not played with the other two though, so I can't tell you how good those are. And I went with Open Media Vault simply because it's based on a distro that I know. Well, that's true. W's complain about politicking or holding us back. Universal basic income would encourage people to do nothing instead of being motivated to work hard. So it's live now from 1 a.m. What? Huh? I did have some weird stuff on the stream earlier, Shoter. Something goofy happened in the scheduling, like it got dropped on at like 3 p.m. instead of 9 p.m. Eastern. And that might have something to do with I scheduled this I think was the first one I scheduled from the Manjaro computer, and it might have something goofy in the time zones. I'll have to look into it. 3D printed food uses real ingredients. SJWs keep on complaining about injustices that do not exist while in South Korea. The cities are technologically sophisticated and everyone is mostly fine. Thanks to the encryption video is great. Awesome. You're welcome. Random off topic. Have you done anything for ZFS or have any intent to? I have no idea what ZFS is. So at this time, I do not intend to. But if I look into it and it's cool, I intend to. I think Ubi could work in Universal Basic Income could work in U.S. if you guys did the same tax level we have with beer and same tax level on cigs, the same 10% GST on all retail goods and services. Yeah, I think one of the challenges is each state has its own jurisdiction over what is taxed by sales tax and how much. Like Tennessee has no state taxes, state income taxes, but their sales tax is really high. Pennsylvania has moderate sales taxes, but the income tax is high. Places like Wyoming, there's very low/moderate sales tax, but there's no state taxes. That's one of the challenges, is tax things just totally screw things up. I think, though, we need a flat tax. I think a flat tax would be the best thing that we could do. Stop focusing on social problems and focus more on technology. We'd be more advanced. We would be more advanced, but it just give us advanced means to reach our deteriorating ends, and that's why we also need to work on social problems as well. We need to work on some social stuff for sure. We don't need to work on social stuff that's going to make people's butts stop hurting. We need to work on real social issues. Just because someone else is struggling doesn't mean I need to be held back with them. Yes, that's exactly my problem with a lot of the education system right now. Common Core. Don't let Johnny run too far ahead because it looks like Sammy's falling behind. Hold Johnny back so Sammy doesn't look as far behind. That's exactly what we do with modern education. I've been watching this channel, by the way. I'm going to do a plug for a channel. This guy's name is David Stewart. He has like 8.5 thousand subs. A little bit bigger channel than mine. This guy's stuff is awesome. He's a teacher, musician, and author, and he has a lot of really cool life stuff. You should check out his channel. But he did one the other day or I think it was last year actually, on education things and 10 things to change with the education system. It was really cool. Software RAID with file integrity checking. Oh, cool. All right, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to record the outro for the video, and then we're going to come back to the comments and feed the kitty, and we'll go ahead and wrap this guy up. So I'm not ending the stream right this second. I'm just going to record the outro, and then we're going to feed the kitty. All right, so that is this edition of the news. It's getting scary out there, folks. It's getting scary. Well, if you would like to help support what we are doing, you can check out switchtolinux.com/support. At the time of this video, we have Patreon, we have direct PayPal links on our website and on the YouTube channel, and we also have Amazon links down below if you want to buy something on Amazon. I know I've talked some bad stuff about Amazon, but I actually do still use them. They're just a little crazy every now and again. But that's quite okay. So thanks for watching, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux. All right. Let's see. Ever heard of RepRap? Open source 3D printer that can replicate itself. No, that sounds pretty sweet though, or pretty scary. Happened to watch Orville 107. Did great explaining having a go at Facebook and social mob justice. No, Orville 107. I'm gonna look into that. Where's my? Well, I found my notebook. Where's my pen? There you go. Most of these social problems are based on meaningless feelings of stupid women who are offended by everything. It's not just women, though. I mean, it's a lot of folks. Facts don't care about your feelings. That's true. Facts don't care about your feelings. All right, let's go ahead and wrap this thing home. Want to see how fast a cat wakes up when temptations are touched? Hey, you. Want some temptations? Yeah. Ooh, crawling there. Ooh. You wish you had thumbs? Here, for the camera. For the camera. Here you go. Oh, one more. For the camera. Over here. For the camera. Here you go. Yeah. Wait, bye, peoples. Bye-bye, peoples. All right, folks. Thanks for watching. Have yourself a wonderful wonderful time. Let's see if there's any final stuff. All right. This makes you feel part of the editing process. ZFS what FreeNAS uses. Have an awesome weekend. You as well. How do you deal with confirmation bias? Me personally, how do I deal with confirmation bias? I view a lot of different things from a lot of different perspectives. That's what I personally do. All right, folks. Have yourself a wonderful, wonderful evening, wonderful weekend, and I will catch you guys later.